All right. Hey there, everyone. All right, screwing around with a few new Zoom toys. Not quite working again. It's kind of like screwing around with a motorcycle or a jet ski or something. It always just seems to work, and then just when you think you have it fixed, not quite. All right. It's a reason why I gave up on used cars. All right. No, we got a lot of great things in store this evening. Let me start by You are. So let's see. We want to welcome you to Traction Real meeting for November 2024. It's Tom Z with Traction Real Estate Investors Association. Super happy to be here with you all this evening, and super happy to be hosting Scott Meyers talking about self-storage investing, which we'll get to in just a few moments. So we're going to change up the format of our meetings going forward. We're going to make them all shorter, probably have more meetings with more frequency, but shorter duration each time. That just seems to fit what people are after these days, right? A lot of things have changed with the ability to be on Zoom all the time. So we're going to make sure these are not your boring Zoom meetings, because if it's not your father's Oldsmobiles, it's not your father's Zoom meeting. I very doubt your father had Zoom meetings back then. My father didn't have a TV till he was 9 years old. So anyway, you know what I mean by that. So we're going to do a lot of fun things to make these a lot more interesting, visually appealing, dynamic, and interactive than the average person's Zoom meeting. So we'll be working on that a little bit tonight as we wrestle through the technology, and a lot more in the future. And then you'll be seeing what we have planned for all of 2025. And I'm super duper excited by it. So let me welcome you again. And I said, my name's Tom Z, president of Traction Real Estate Investors Association for the past 16 years. It was 16 years ago that I took over as president after having been a member for probably about 4 years before that. And it was this organization that I learned how to cut my teeth in real estate investing, and how to become an entrepreneur, and how to break free of my dependency on a 9-to-5 job and to become independent and totally on my own. And that literally revolutionized everything for me. I know, it changed my life. Changing your life is almost cliche these days, but I 100% honestly mean it. It totally changed my life, because I've now been unemployed since 2005. I took this group over in 2009. I'm sorry, 2008, September 2008. And absolute craziness. So that's what I want to share with you. That's what Carolina and I aim each and every month to help improve your life, improve your business, improve the number of deals you're getting, the types of deals you're getting, the type of money and income that you're bringing in, all of that in one place. So we love to support you no matter what kind of a real estate investor you are, no matter what level of real estate investor that you are. Traction Real is here for you, and that's what we want to do. So with all that being said, then because I said it, my attorney forces me to give you a disclaimer. There are no guarantees. No guarantees in life, no guarantees in business. There's certainly no guarantees that you're going to make money. We're going to teach you how to do it, and you should be doing it, and you should make money. But yes, you can lose money. The difference is learn what the heck you're doing, follow the steps of the processes that we give you so that you make money and don't lose it. Okay? Now that we've disclaimed, we can talk like grown adults. How much fun. You found us somehow. Maybe you've been with us a long time. Maybe you're brand new. Either way, I would love if you talk it up, spread the word, help us meet more great people just like you. And the easiest way to fill these Zoom rooms with more great people is to have our already great people, our great members and our great visitors here, tell other people about the meetings. There's a topic you think they would enjoy, send them the link, forward them the emails that you get, send them to our social media pages, all of the above. Do it, share it with them. They'll probably thank you. If they don't, blame me. If they do love it, take credit yourself. I'm A-okay with that. All right. So talk it up and spread the word. If you're on social media and you see a post from us, give it a thumbs up or a like or a share. We love absolutely all of that. And then to carry on the networking in between the online meetings, go to our Facebook group. It's go to Facebook, type in Traction Real Estate Mentors. You'll see a page that looks like that, and you can join and carry on the conversations there. Also, in terms of understanding what's going on and hearing the success that other members are having, perfect spot for that is my podcast. Go to tomzeeb.com, and there's an entire 5 seasons now of my podcast where some of it is deep training I really don't hold anything back. Some of it are interviews with our successful members and students where they don't hold anything back and get into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to do each and every deal. If you want to be inspired, if you need to be inspired, if you need to kind of clear all the cobwebs out of your brain and ignore all the noise in the world and the noise on social media, then I'll tell you what, hit TomZeeb.com and challenge yourself to listen to one podcast episode. See what you think, see how much you like it, and then go ahead and binge on the rest. I think it's very bingeable. Of course, I'm biased. It's my podcast. But I challenge you to see if you think it's bingeable as well. So go ahead and feel free to binge. Now, if you're old school and like to read, go to Amazon.com, type in Tom Zeeb, and you'll see my book on how to correctly flip houses for a profit. And if you're a little bit new school, you can still go to Amazon, and there's an audio version that's been professionally narrated as well. I hired a professional narrator because the thought of spending multiple days in a small padded room made me crazy. So I just hired somebody else to read it. So it's not in my voice, but I wrote it, so it's good. And for all things traction, you can take your mobile cell phone, whether you are Android or Apple, iPhone, you can scan that QR code and it will take you to the Traction app. The Traction app basically combines all of our great traction training information in one place. Our daily messages are in there, our video trainings are in there, the podcast is in there. There's all sorts of different information in there, and we sometimes do app-only bonuses for people as well. So it's all on the app, so go ahead and use that QR code. If I advance too fast for you on that, you can also go to tractionrea.com/app, app/app, and you'll be in good shape. Now, as much as I would love to do a high-tech transfer, I'm actually going to do a low-tech transfer and introduce my lovely wife, Carolina, the Vice President of Traction REIA. Watch this low-tech transfer. I'm going to move this way, and she's going to move in. Yay.
Hello, hello. How do I move?
Use the arrows.
We have a brand new system, so this is cool to learn a new tech. This is Carolina Z from Sarasota. After 2 hurricanes, we are still going. We're still here with you. We're stronger than ever before. If we can make it through COVID, hurricanes, everything at all, we can keep moving. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm really excited to tell you a bit about Traction. I'll move quickly. Again, if you have any questions about membership, Home Depot, anything related to Traction, I am your girl. Please email me, reach out. If you don't ask or ask for my help, then you might not find a solution. So please feel free to email me, call the office and ask for me. I'm happy to help. If this is the first time you're joining us, just want you to understand what National REIA is and how this designation of a chapter is a big deal. There are a lot of groups around the US, and we are the proud chapter for the DC region that includes the district, Southern Maryland, and Northern Virginia. We're also the chapter for Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete, the west part of Florida. That means that we are under a big association that is the National Real Estate Investors Association, and they help us be better for you. They help us with legislation. They help us keep you updated and bring you the best education possible, local, national speakers. Also, a lot of benefits from you. I always like to say thank you to our staff, our volunteers, our ambassadors, Crystal, Dwayne, Claude, Jesse, and Jeannie. We love you guys, and we really appreciate what you have done for us over 15 years now. I know how old Traction REIA is. When we took over, how old Tom is. So Tom is 15, so it's 15. I'm here with Claude and Crystal and Dwayne at the Home Depot party. I'm gonna mention our sponsors. We always appreciate what they do, how they support us. First, I'm gonna go for Clear Sky. I don't know if Charlie or Sam are here. You guys can say a quick hello. If not, don't worry. We're gonna put all the information on the chat. Tom is gonna put that in there. Also, all the information is on the website. Clear Sky is a hard money lender. They've been with us for a long time, and they are basing their money lending on the properties, not you. So this is a great tool. This is a great asset that you should have. We also have specialized trust company. If you don't know this, but then you should learn it. There's a lot of real estate transactions that you can do inside a self-directed IRA, where you will pay either no tax or a lot less tax. So this is something that you should know, and specialized trust company is the company to do it. So their information is in there as well. We'll put it in the chat. And I'll send you the newsletter as well. I'll put the link here as well for you guys. Claude has been a great part of Traction for a long time. He's our resident market update expert. He's a realtor, but a realtor that understands how investors work on the buying side, on the selling side. So Claude is there for you. We also have Accurate 1031 Exchange. It's another tool that you should know about. This is a company that you should go to. You need an intermediate to do this type of transactions. So make sure you reach out to Accurate. Deal Machine has become a big part of Traction. It's an amazing app and software that will help you get leads that will turn into deals. So it's fantastic. You can drive for deals. It's an amazing combination of having your own matrix or system where you can see properties, owners, information. So this is a great tool. And we always offer a 7-day trial, free trial. So go to tractionrea.com. Deal Machine. Home Depot is pretty much our biggest sponsor and has been. This is because we're part of the national REIA. We are able to extend the following benefits to you. 20% of liquid paint. Doesn't matter if you buy 1 gallon, 10 gallons, PPG, Bear, doesn't matter the color, you will always get 20% off. We also get 10% of cabinets. This is a special program. The 2% cash back rebate. It's whatever you spend the first half of every year, January to June, you're going to get 2% cash back on that. And the same July to December. And in general, you're going to get better deals for being part of Traction. A group that spends almost 50 million combined, DC and Florida, a year. Once you join Traction, you're gonna be able to access all the benefits, and this is one of them, the Gold Paint Rewards. So for my current Traction members, I always want you to log into your Pro Extra account and make sure you have this. It should say Gold Paint Rewards. If you do not have that, please email me and we'll fix it. This is what's gonna give you the 20% off on paint every time. This is my son, Dominic, years ago, because he's 9 years old now and he probably doesn't fit in the bucket. So he's here to remind you, have you registered for the rebate? I need you to make sure that you follow all the steps in order to get your rebate in January. If you fail to do these 3 things, you will not get it. Number 1 is your Traction REIA membership current. You must be a member. Home Depot requests a membership list. So make sure that you are current. And did you spend $5,000 between July and December? So July of this year until December of this year. And then are you properly registered in the Pro Extra account? If you follow these 3 steps, you will get your rebate. And don't worry, if you didn't understand my Colombian English, don't worry. That's where my accent is from Colombia. Just go to our website, members only, and click on Home Depot rebate, plain English instructions. And if you have any questions, just email me and I'll help you set it up. By now, you should have an idea who we are. And the answer is yes or no. Yes, I want to join this group. I want to be able to get benefits. I want to be part of this amazing community. The website is tractionrea.com/join. Very simple. Every month we have really cool events online. We also have in-person events. So I'm just gonna walk you through the upcoming ones. Today we have our dear friend, Scott Meyers on self-storage. Oh, there you go. This Sunday, my DC friends, or if you're in the Northeast and wanna drive, To Vienna, Virginia. Jesse, one of our amazing volunteers, big part of Traction, is hosting a tour of a renovation. She just completed this renovation. It's Sunday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. She's pretty much doing an open house for us for Traction, and she's gonna walk through how much she got it for, how much she spent on it, what she changed, and how much the property listed. So this is a great opportunity. If you're new, fantastic. If you are, even if you're an advanced investor, it's really cool to see the new trends, what she did with kitchens, baths. So this is a great chance. The meeting is free and open to members and non-members, but we do ask you to RSVP. Once you RSVP, you get the address and details. So this is this Sunday in Vienna, Virginia. And I also want you to mark your calendars. December 8th. This is the third year in a row that we're going to do a very unique event. Home Depot has a design center in Rockville, Maryland. There are only 3 in the country, 1 in California, 1 in New Jersey, and this one is in Rockville. We are lucky that we have a great relationship with them, and they are going to open the doors just for us. The design center is closed on Sundays. They're going to open it to us only. They're going to have breakfast ready for us. So it's Sunday, December the 8th, 10 a.m., 10 to 12. You're going to be able to see kitchens, bathrooms, showers, anything that you ever think of to put in a house, in a renovation is there. They don't sell anything. It's a design center. So you'll be able to see like a showroom. So this is a great event for members and non-members. And we just ask you to register. And those are the events that we have lined up for November and December. Tom, could you put the link for the newsletter? Because the newsletter has everything that I just said, in case you didn't understand my lovely accent. Okay. Showtime. Almost showtime.
Before you introduce Scott, or you want to
Before?
talk about this separate? All right, before you introduce Scott,
Yes.
I'd be remiss if I don't play
What?
well, I want to see where everyone's coming from. I gotta try out some of the new tech. Otherwise, what was the point of wrestling with all this? So everyone open up your chat window in Zoom. And I would love to see if you can go into the chat, and if you could,
Yes.
there we go. Type where you are joining us from this evening, city or city and state. And let's see if this works as planned. Where are you joining us from? All right. Seeing a whole bunch blitzing in the chat, and I'm not seeing any dots arriving on the screen. Okay, I knew when my that AI assistant bombed out. Well, at least if you look in the chat, you can see where you're coming from. So much for the beauty of seeing that on the screen. All right. Sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. This would be one of those days that they're not working. All right, fine. So let's do this. We'll jump back and we'll have Carolina introduce Scott. Jump back.
That was awesome. But anyway, the point is we have people from all over and I love it. And I was telling Scott that it's not only going to be our friends in DC, Maryland, Virginia, and Florida, but we have the Traction community all over the states. So this is very exciting. The reason I have this photo here is before I tell you how Scott is an amazing teacher, educator, and real estate investor, specialized in self-storage. And before I tell you how much you're going to learn, before I tell you how this tool can make you a lot of money, I wanted to show you another side of Scott. We've known Scott over, what, 50 plus years, 15, 16. And I've always heard him talking about mission trips to Mexico, where he will build a home. Okay. And finally, this year, I called him probably in March. And I said, Scott, I want to go. What do you need? And he said, just show up in San Diego, June 10th. I think it was, I don't remember the date, but June 10th. And I said, I would like to bring my son, Tommy, because I think he needs to physically do something for somebody else. And he was my main reason, Tommy. And we showed up and I said, what else? How much does it cost? And he said, no, you take care of you get into San Diego and then I'll take care of the rest. You just need to plan to be there. A Friday by noon in San Diego and then book your flight back Monday after 12 noon. So we showed up in San Diego and we were greeted at the airport by Scott and his lovely wife, Christine. And we met this amazing group of people and we got on a bus from San Diego. We crossed the border into Mexico and we arrived at a beautiful, lovely town called Ensenada, Mexico. And the next morning, very early, we came to a lot. And in the following 2 days, we built this house. It was a group of, I think, less than 20 people, including families, kids, young, older crowds, everything works. But I just wanted to show you this amazing photo. I'm all the way to my right, which I don't know, I guess it's your right, all the way to the right, on jeans. And that was the house that we built for a family. And then I'm going to share with you a few more photos. So that's Christina and Scott right there. Scott has the yellow cap. And this lovely family, they were chosen. The foundation that does this, they do a fantastic process of choosing the family. And they chose this amazing family and they were part of the process. And this family, the Felix Garrido family, got this love. Not only that we gave them a house, is that we were part of the entire process. Some of the photos you see there, there's nothing, right? Just a lot. Tommy's on the right painting. We're lifting walls, we're lifting the whole thing. And when I showed up, I said, I mean, I can do things. I've done a lot of renovations. I have a lot of rentals, but I have never, ever been on a roof of one of my properties and actually fix it, or I have never painted the whole thing from scratch. So this was a fantastic experience because of course my son said, I've never done that. I don't know what to do. And then they just tell us what to do. Just grab a brush and paint. Just grab a nail gun and throw it in there. So if you see me, I learned how to, what is the name of that tool? Whatever. I don't know the name of the tool, but I make a lot of money in real estate and now I know how to build a house. And that's Scott on the left with Tommy. And then that's me on the roof. And what is the name of it? Shingles, the things, yeah, whatever. I have paid several contractors over the course of my real estate career. I have paid tons of roofers, but I have never been on that roof doing it myself. So not only was a fantastic personal experience, but doing something with your hands that was nothing. And then in 2 days, you have this beautiful house was a fantastic experience. And that was kind of my preface to tell you who Scott is. He's been doing this for, I think it's more than 15 years. I know that. And this is not their first house. I know they've done so many more. So I just wanted to tell you how real estate, specifically self-storage investing, has helped him, his family, and so many more people build dreams like this. Whatever your goals are, we do need to make them happen by knowing how to be financially independent. So I just wanted to share the photos because this just happened a few months ago in Mexico. And if you're saying, you know what, I might want to be part of it, guess what? June of next year, June 13th to 16th, 2025, we're going to go back to Ensenada. We want to bring a traction group and build a house for somebody. So keep that in mind. If you're interested, you can always email me. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my introduction to Scott. I tell you the personal part of it, and I'm going to let you I'm going to let him tell you everything about his professional part of it, how he got involved in real estate and how he got involved in self-storage investing. You can stop sharing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let Tom drive now.
All right. Back in the driver's seat. Awesome. I'll say with Scott, look, one of Tommy's big things was being a teenager. I'm sure everyone understands that, particularly if you've had kids. And Tommy was initially hesitant on it. And I said, look, I rate Scott very highly. I mean, I rank him as excellent as an investor, excellent as a businessman, obviously excellent in self-storage. I said, more important than that, Tommy, I rank him excellent as a man, as a gentleman, as a Christian. I want you to go, just give it the benefit of the doubt and see what you think. Can you do that? Tommy came back all smiles and excited and loved Scott and the entire process. And it was one of those things that really made quite a large difference to everything that was going on. And we were super happy and excited about that. So that is why, along with everything, we want you to learn when you want to do things like this, right? A lot of people have giving and charity and giving back and doing great things on their to-do list, on their dream list, on their vision board, on their whatever it is you have plans in your mind for the future. The thing is, how do you get to do it? Well, you generally have to make sure your own boat is floating very well first and moving so that you can help at a larger scale. And that's exactly why we bring great speakers and trainers like Scott here to teach you. So, Mr. Meyers, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Tom. It's so good to be back with you again.
Awesome. Excellent to see you. So, Scott, self-storage as a niche is just, it's hyper unique. It's different. A lot of people want to get into commercial because they know that's where the big money is. But you found a way to get into the big money without the big headaches. And that's something that I think is going to fascinate a lot of people.
Well, I hope so. That's what we're here to talk about is self-storage, and just so glad to be back here. What else, Tom, before we launch in here?
I think that's it. I think to dig straight in, tell us everything, and then the stage is yours.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tom and Carolina. And it's just it's so cool to be back here, honestly, folks, because I've been there from the beginning with Tom and Carolina. They said 16 years ago, and that was the first year that I came out to Traction. And as always, they're on the cutting edge. As always, they care about their folks and about what they do. And as always, Tom is always pushing the limits in tech. And as always, it never seems to fail him the first time. And so I've been witness to this many times. But I've been out to speak on the East Coast at Traction. Tom and Carolina and my wife Christina and I have been on a cruise together. And then I had an opportunity now, 16 years later, after meeting Tommy the first time in a stroller. I take that back. And they picked me up in the Honda Pilot, and Tommy was in the back seat, strapped in, and I got to join him after they picked me up from the airport, and that was my first introduction to him. And then, 16 years later, to then come alongside of him and help him build a house and be there the first time he's on a short-term family-friendly mission trip, and to see even in the course of just 2 days the change in him was incredible. So that's why we do what we do. And I could we could talk for another hour or 2 hours about the mission side of it, but that truly is, let's face it, that's why we're all here, is to utilize real estate in some form or fashion to be able to create the freedom and have the resources and the time and the money to be able to go the tenant and toilet business. But it certainly is now, and self-storage has afforded us an incredible opportunity, an incredible life. And just once again, there's I think as I get older, I think many of you recognize and realize, there's fewer people that I have time or sometimes even care to spend time with, and it's my family. And as they grow, that's it. And it's the folks that have been in your life for a long time. And so I don't go out and speak really anymore, except for the industry trade shows and my own mastermind. And I don't go out and speak at REIAs, but when Tom and Carolina call, I will always say yes, and I will always answer and always go wherever it is that they want me to be, just to be able to help and to spend time with them. So even if it is here on a webinar. So thankful for them. And once again, folks, you have hitched your wagon to the right folks. They are doing it right. They're doing it well. Not just their longevity, but you don't get to the place where they are right now unless they have a heart for caring. Okay, so with that, we've talked about mission trips. I talked to you about how much I love Tom and Carolina. So I'm going to take you on a journey of self-storage. And at that time, I hope that you decide that that's maybe something for you as well. And if not, no harm, no foul. But you know what? Everybody's going to end up, if you're in real estate, everybody's going to end up in self-storage sooner or later. So I'm going to get you one way or another. And self-storage is going to get you because that's what it did to me. I wasn't looking for it, but I fell into it. And I'm extremely thankful. So that's what we're going to learn today. That's what you're going to learn is you're going to learn why self-storage is the most practical, profitable, and highest performing asset class in real estate, and how and why we're creating an impact and significance. And now we're in the legacy portion of our careers, if you will. And it wasn't if it weren't for self-storage, that certainly wouldn't happen. We wouldn't be able to build 40 plus houses and do the things that we do if it weren't for self-storage. Because back in these days, when I was in houses and apartments, we didn't have the cash flow and we didn't have the time to do this. So when we got into storage back in 2005, since then we've converted different buildings, industrial buildings into storage and developed from the ground up over 28,000 units and 5 million square feet. And we started with nothing. So don't be impressed by that, other than the fact that we started where everybody else either is or was at some point, and that was somewhere without self-storage. We've raised over $180 million from 1,100 of our private equity partners that have come alongside of us and see what we're doing and wanted to come alongside and partner with us, and we're thankful for that. And then along the way, I've created through our education organization, a little bit of a ruckus in the industry. And so I've been asked to go speak on the stages at Inside Self Storage and the Self Storage Association. And even just a few short years after I got into, I eat, sleep, and breathe self storage. I've been doing this through 3 recessions now. This ain't my first rodeo, and another reason why you should be listening to Tom and Carolina, because those of us that have been around a little while, we can see a little further down the road. And we can understand and see what's coming, and then pass that information along to those of you that may not have been in business as long as we have. And for us in self-storage, we look forward to any downturn in the economy because it is a benefit for self-storage. When people downsize and individuals and businesses downsize, when things are tough in the economy, we benefit because they put things in storage and things turn back around again. And so after we got into the business of investing regularly, I was the Tom Zeeb and Carolina Zeeb, just one person, however, of my real estate investor group here in Indianapolis, and then started holding workshops on how to invest in self-storage. And then along came a couple of folks that said, hey, we need you to come and speak over here. And somebody said, it's going to be throwing off $10,000 a month in net positive cash flow. And lo and behold, that's the average to this day. I mean, we've been doing this for 17 years. And to this day, that is the model, and it continues. Some more, some a little bit less, but that is the average that our students are seeing when they get into their first self-storage facility. So I thought I'd ask the question, where could you be if you started working with us, if you started and just implemented the things that we're going to talk about tonight, and you just bought one facility making $120,000 a year, just one? What would that look like if you started a year ago? Where would you be now? Well, what about 5 years ago? And you just bought one a year. That's it. You'd be at $600,000 a year. And if you started 10 years ago, I mean, you get it. There's the math. And the question is, so I would just ask, where do you want to go? And before you say, well, that kind of sounds like kind of hard, and that's commercial real estate, and that's big. Well, it's really not as hard as you think. Take Jason here. He was a fireman in Ohio. He came over to our 3-day academy, and he came to us. And in his words, I have less than perfect credit, Scott. How am I going to do this business? Well, we showed him how to, and then he went out and found a seller financed 90% purchase price of his first facility. Jason's now semi-retired off of this one facility, just one. And he is now a passive investor in self-storage, other facilities, some of our projects and others. Jason's deal threw off $120,000 net operating income at the time of acquisition. So once again, following the model, and found a facility that is exactly the model that we are looking at, except he 10x this thing quite a bit. And in terms of the overall valuation, however, his net operating income, net to Jason, after 3 years was $400,000 with just hard. And I can't, no money and bad credit is not an excuse to create wealth with self-storage, because I just showed you an example. One of our early students who had less than perfect credit and didn't have a lot of money, and is now making $400,000 a year as a passive investor as well. So my goal for today, to show you that truly I feel the best way for you to take back control of your time and maximize your return is through self-storage. And that's not just my opinion, just because I am the OG or just because I said it. It's I'm going to show you the stats and the reasons behind that. So here's my 10 reasons why I love self-storage. period. And I've been talking about this ever since somebody gave me a microphone to be able to talk about it. And one is that there's more opportunity. There's 25 plus million units out there across this country to be able to buy. More than anything is, however, it is the most recession and inflation resistant asset class for the reasons I just mentioned. When things are not going well in the economy, self-storage actually benefits where the other asset classes suffer and struggle. And then rounding out my top 10, because it's my top 10, is no tenants, no toilets, and no trash. So if that's attractive to anybody else that's a landlord right now, well, it ought to be. So lean in. We're going to talk about advantage number one with the stats, with the proof behind it. Why self-storage is a series of some steps in an easy to follow system that literally anyone can execute, because it is, and we created it. So here is our time-tested, proven process. It's fairly simple, and it has a lot of pieces behind it, but it's just a matter of identifying a market, doing the market analysis to make sure that the demand is there, and it's pretty simple. So we're going to go through those. Ready? Now's the time to take out your pencil or pen, pad, and type, because we're going to get into the nitty-gritty and show you how we go about doing this. So step number one, we're going to identify the markets and then do the market analysis, because even if you find a strong deal, and by the way, we talk about properties or projects in terms of an opportunity and a deal, because just because a broker says, hey boy, if I got a deal for you, well, it's an opportunity, but I'll determine whether it's a deal or not. Let me underwrite it and find out what this looks like. So we're going to talk about IDing the market first, because even if you have a deal, once you find out it's an opportunity, it's only a deal until the market proves that there's enough demand to be able to take it where you want to. So we identify all the self-storage facilities in a market, and we do this through multiple methods. We create a database to include all the property, the site, and the gap analysis to put it into our customer relationship model and our transaction management tools to be able to figure this out as to whether the market is strong. So exactly how we do that. So that's the market analysis piece. And the good news is all the data is available. So you're not guessing. There's no guesswork out of it. It's just plugging the data into our underwriting model, and then it's going to show you whether the market is strong, whether this deal is strong. So next, we're going to ID the facilities in that market. So we use CoStar is one of our favorite tools. We have a subscription to. We use LexisNexis, which grabs data, and it also helps us in some cases to crack the LLC and find out who actually owns these facilities. And we also use Reonomy, which is an incredible data gathering tool, which allows us to be able to go out and once again ID properties and ID the owners. So that's how we find out who they are. And then we begin the active outreach to the owners. And what does that active outreach means? Yes, it means you have to, I'd say pick up the phone, but again, then I would look like I'm the OG because nobody picks up a phone anymore. But the active outreach means you should grab your phone and you actually call these folks. Yes, we do send mailers out. We do have email campaigns and texting, but no, you're going to call them. And we have dialing. So we continue to follow up with these folks until we either buy their property or they die or they tell us, stop calling me, stop, bothering me with this. And so we will continue on because we continue to canvass these markets. And that's by way of voicemails, text, emails. And we have scripts for our virtual assistants and for myself in the beginning as I was getting used to this. And these are the scripts that we share with you as well so that you can sound like a professional in the industry on your very first phone call. Then the owners that consider selling, well, they go on our contact list to follow up with. And even if they're not considering selling right now, they will be in the future. And so we will mark down a time in the CRM or a spreadsheet, whatever this looks like, just a reminder so that you can contact them again when it is time for them to sell. So step number 3, you found somebody that's interested. Now it's a matter of just negotiating the price, then preparing the either letter of intent or the offer itself. And so what we're going to share with you is our system to do side has been so great to be able to go into, even though there's more commas and zeros, but then recognize that it's so easy to negotiate. And it's such a simple form that we let the underwriting tools do the heavy lifting for us. So once we've negotiated a deal with the seller, now comes step number 4, the funding piece, which is, first of all, simple because we give you our Rolodex that we put together over the last 18 years of all the lenders that love self-storage, the active lenders that are financing our deals all over the country. Savings loans, credit unions, community banks, they love self-storage. They love to have it on their balance sheet because it is the asset class that has the lowest loan default rate and the lowest loan loss rate. And so if they want to strengthen their balance sheet and ask for more money from the feds when the auditor comes through that audits their bank, they want to have self-storage on their balance sheet. And so they're clamoring for more loans. They want to get more loans or money out into the marketplace on our self-storage facilities. The SBA, they have an 85% LTV loan package that offers the ability to have a 5% seller carryback, which means you can get where the returns are. So it is no secret. I say secret number 3, it's easiest to finance. Well, it's no secret when you have the lowest cumulative loss rate and the cumulative default rate. And so I'm not here to tick anybody off or offend anybody in the group here, including Tom and Carolina. But here's the deal, little public service announcement. If you look at multifamily, it's triple in both cumulative loss and cumulative default rate. Industrial, retail, office, all of those are performing worse in terms of the loan default rate. And so if you're having any struggle at all getting a loan right now for your commercial real estate and in these asset classes, then I suggest if you want to grow your business, then maybe you want to add this asset class or perhaps switch asset classes, because this is the one that banks want. So rather than saying no, they're saying, thank you, we'll fund this. Do you have another? And that is a different place to be in when you're a real estate investor, when the banks are coming to class in commercial real estate. And once again, you'll see that all roads lead to self-storage. All right. So remember Jason? He secured 90% seller financing. You say, okay, that's great, Scott. I've got hope. My credit maybe is less than perfect like Jason's, and I don't have, lots of cash sitting around with commas and zeros behind it. But where do I find these things? You must have the secret sauce, Scott, or you found all the deals, or you've been doing this for 16 years and you trained everybody in the planet how to do it. And so how am I going to go out and find any? There must not be any left. Okay, well, we wouldn't have a business or 2 businesses or 3 businesses in self-storage if there weren't any deals left to be had out there. So how did Jason find it? Well, just like most of our folks do, they call a broker. Not everybody's selling at the same time. Not everybody's buying at the same time. So you call the commercial brokers or the self-storage brokers and you tell them they're at the top of their game, that the Class A facilities, they get funded all day long and they can get their commission up and down in 90 days, no matter what, at the most. But it's those difficult deals that they advertise, just like we are for these sellers, that are trouble deals, and they can't get them up and down. They can't even get the numbers out of the sellers. And so if they're going to put together a package to offer it and then parade people around to sell it, well, that's a lot of work for not a whole lot of money. And so you tell them, I'm your solution. Give me a shot. Give me 48 hours to take a look at any of the junk you got, and I'll let you know whether I'm interested or not. Can you do that? Give me a finger. Give me a number 1 that you can do that. Everybody can do that? That's what I thought. Diane, I know you can do it. Yes, see? Okay, close enough. A nod is close enough. So step number 5 is once you buy it, you manage it. Now, the good news is the beauty of self-storage, and I could say that, love the Starbucks app or your favorite coffee shop app, because you can walk in and pick up your cup of coffee without ever having to talk to anybody, or because you don't want to talk to anybody, or because you don't like people. Well, guess what? You can also rent storage at our facilities with bypassing the line, without ever talking to anybody, because we make the process just as simple, because it's just as simple of a process as it is to order a cup of coffee. We overcomplicate things way too much, I believe, in many instances, and this is one of those transactions that can be handled by a kiosk. So guess what? We've opened up $30,000, $40,000, $70,000 of payroll in each of our facilities by implementing the kiosk technology and software. And by the way, we don't even have to have a kiosk. We run many of our facilities by way of what you're seeing on the screen. Yeah, we utilize our website and the client's cell phone or their laptop or their iPad. You want to rent a unit using that software on the iPad or on your phone, even from the parking lot of our facility, you can do the same thing. You don't have to come inside even. And you get your gate code, wine storage, offering renter's insurance, vending machines, eBay services. We offer pack and ship services for our facilities, both eBay and pack and ship if we do have facilities with managers alongside of them, and truck rental, which is the most common that you would see at a self-storage facility. All of these plus more. Over 40 different profit centers that we've identified that we can add to a self-storage facility to increase the value and the net operating income of a facility. So when we talked about Jason starting out at $120,000 and then getting up to $400,000, well, he did all these things and expanded as well, which is the greatest way to be able to create value is if you buy a facility on 3 acres and, if you buy a facility on 5 acres and the buildings are only on 3, and then you're 3 extra money. And you either refinance it and pull $1 million or $2 million out for yourself, or sell it and then you put $2.5 to $3 million in your pocket. That is the business model. And I want to say it's as simple as that, but in theory, that is what we do. And we've replicated this over and over and over and over again. Can you do 1 a year? Yes, you can do 1 a year. Can you do 5 a year? Yes, you can do 5 a year. There is no limit except for the speed at which you operate and the time that you have to be able to devote to this, because we give you the blueprint, we give you the access and the resources. It's just up to you. Armin did so. Armin is one of our students that he and I partnered on this particular facility, and Armin is one who is a Well, he beat the average. He bolstered up for the rest, and not 120,000 or $10,000 a month, but $180,000 a year when he moved in to his first facility. Those are his text messages, which I put them in there for me, so because I get to see him when I give this presentation of little self-storage facility. So now, what are the exit strategies? If you want to hold these things, turn them around after a year, after 5 years, after 7 years, well, you can refinance them, pull that cash out. You can hold indefinitely and enjoy infinite returns. You can sell them for profit and achieve your moonshot. What's a moonshot? It's your BHAG. What's a BHAG? Your big, hairy, audacious goal. What is that goal that you have that you had set for yourself many, many years ago? Not the annual goal that you set. And by the way, we set annual goals. We don't do New Year's Eve resolutions, right? We set goals, correct? I'm sure that Tom and Caroline have talked about that because they don't do resolutions either. I know that. But what is it that you achieve? What is your moonshot? What have you been wanting to do? What's on the bucket list that you want to knock off? Well, do you want to achieve all of them? Do you want to achieve whatever that is that you have planned, at the end, meaning when you're done with your work life? Well, what does that look like? Well, self-storage can do that. And I know. And United flies out of Orlando. And so he was able to buy his dream home, move to Orlando, and no more Indiana and Chicago winters for him. All right, so advantage number 2 to self-storage is, if that isn't enough, it is the best performing asset class in real estate and has been for the past 25 years and counting. Not because Scott said, but because here are the industry stats. Tracked by NAREIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, the National Real Estate Investment Trust. They track the 25-year average annual returns by asset class in commercial real estate, and self-storage at the top, 16.85% average annual returns in the industry. Whereas industrial, which self-storage is a kind of a subset of, it is a subset of industrial, but they break it out at 13%, 13% for healthcare, multifamily just shy of 13, retail at 12, office at 12, and the S&P 500 always coming in last at 7%, and that's if you're lucky, not good. I'm not bragging on it, saying that I'm better than them. As a matter of fact, they are better than me, because we reverse engineer everything that they do and we implemented it in our business. But you know what? The good news is we've got a community, we got an ecosystem, and I'm hoping you're willing to join us to make it even stronger, of investors that are a lot faster than they are. We're a lot more nimble, and we're buying the junk, as I just mentioned, the fixer-uppers, the value-add facilities, and we're also developing from the ground up, which is the ultimate value add. You start with a plot of dirt, and then you put a building on it, and then you put an income stream on it. And when we do that, that's how we create massive returns for ourselves as well as our passive investors that come alongside of us. And so while the industry and the REITs are returning 16.85%, I'm returning 36.74%, more than double that to my passive investors who come alongside of us. So if that's what I'm returning to my passive investors, what do you suppose myself investors? So it wasn't always that way, however, because here's where many people start, and this is where I started as well. I had a job. I maxed out my 401k. I studied the stock market to learn as much as I could about investing in it. But then in 1999, with the dot-com crash, I lost it all. And that's because I got the double whammy. I worked for a tech company when the tech bubble burst, and this tech company also was one of the ones caught cooking the books. And if I told you the name of the company, you would certainly remember the name of it, and perhaps for their nefarious duties at the time. And unfortunately, I saw $400,000 of my retirement that I had built up at that time, for the short amount of time I was working for this company, go up in flames because the big casino on Wall Street is just that. And that paper is vapor, and it can go away overnight. And ask me how I know this, and that's because I just told you I lost it all. So I had to build it all back up again. And how did I do it? Well, I decided this time I'm going to meet the manager of my money, not some Wall Street dude or a corporate guy, that guy that was ahead of my company that was cooking the books. I'm going to meet him every morning in the mirror, because it's going to be me, and I'm going to invest in not vapor. Or sounds like a great idea. Anybody else looking at franchises? Looked at franchises? Okay, well, proven business model. However, there's no appreciation, there's no depreciation. They don't help you to get the money or find the money. You have to get it on your own. And at the end of the day, do you actually own it? No, you never own it. You never own it. So I looked at all these businesses, services, retail, franchises, but I decided that I wanted a hard asset class, and this was the way to create wealth. And so I bought the Carlton Sheets Home Study System. Yeah, that dates me, and those folks that are smiling right now are as old as I am. By the way, I started investing back in the 1900s. For some of you folks, get a handle on that. This is my first rental, 1993. purchased my first single family house, 3-bedroom, bread and butter ranch in a working class neighborhood, just like Carlton Sheets said, for $30,000 with an assumable VA loan. What is that? And that is not Virginia, because this is a traction group that is the houses, because we didn't have the cash flow, my wife and I, and or the free time that we wanted or expected. We just never got to that crest, that wave where we could, even though we had managers and management companies, we were never at that place where we were able to, just go off and into the sunset, or, do what we wanted, when we wanted, with whom we wanted. So our goals were, I just wanted to retire someday. When we began this business, I needed to rebuild everything I'd lost in the stock market and my 401k in 99, and I wanted to provide for and be present for my family. Those are my goals. And ultimately, we wanted to have the resources to give back. Those are our shared goals between my wife, Christina, and I. And I loved real estate, but everybody loves rental real estate, right? If it weren't for the tenants and the toilets and trash. You probably heard that before. And we did have the money. The money was rolling around, and we were rolling it over from one into the next project into the, we have carpeting and drywall and HVAC systems. And, we can talk about our multifamily. Who brags about owning a bunch of garages or, metal sheds on concrete slabs? But then when she finally said, either you look at doing something else or I quit before you fire me, because I'm done, I listened. And so I came up with a plan. I started going to the self-storage trade shows, but all I found were the vendors to sell me the pieces and parts and services related to self-storage. Nobody was teaching the nuts and bolts, the A to Z, how to find, evaluate, purchase, and manage self-storage facilities. Aha, you see it coming, right? So I went out and found a self-storage owner and a consultant, and I paid him to teach me about and value, just to screw their partner. Well, okay, that's great, for us, not for them. So this was a distressed partnership and not a distressed facility, and it had appraised for $1.7 million, and we bought it for $925,000. So I partnered with a local commercial broker, because the lender at the time, remember, my back's against the wall, things aren't going so well. And the bank said, you don't have experience in self-storage, to which my wife said, I can run a storage facility with one hand tied behind my back, because I've been running these apartments for this many years. She is a high capacity female, just like a Carolina. So you can imagine this was old hat for her. And so we were able to buy it, and lo and behold, go figure, $10,000 per month in positive cash flow on our first facility. And this is the model that we followed, and we found up developments. We buy existing facilities, the same business model, 4 or 5 acre facility with buildings on 3 or 4. And then we add, the additional buildings, and then we reinvest, refinance and reinvest. The model just keeps going. And now we partner with other folks. We buy facilities from our students and from other wholesalers that we've created, that we've taught how to do the business. But to do the ultimate, which is, this was our goal, is to have time. My wife and I, we enjoy going to Napa. We go to Napa a lot. We enjoyed going to Disney over the years. We went to Disney a lot. I told my 3 kids, when you graduate from high school, I didn't, like Tom, my son and I went to Dubai, and my youngest daughter, we went to see the Grand Prix in Saudi Arabia. So she's my favorite child, not for any other reason other than she said, I want to go to see an F1 race in Saudi Arabia, and I said, done. And that's what self-storage has allowed us to do, and to be able to spend time on a boat and go out and just have dedicated time with them. And that never would have happened. I know that never would have happened if we'd have been still down the path of the tenant and toilet business. But that time with our family, but then also giving back, as I mentioned, is the DNA in our business. And going to Uganda and help to create self-sustaining communities there, building 40 plus houses. You know what? This business, like any, thrives on collaboration. Go figure, right? And self-storage is also hyper local, meaning I can share this and teach as many people as possible, but they're not going to be my competitors, because our market is really 5 miles at the most. That's it. And that's why this is such a giving community and such a giving industry to begin with. And so I wanted to share it with other people, because it made it easier for us to do business together. As we continue to teach more people the right way of doing things, it just reduces the friction and allows us all to be able to work together and rowing in the same direction. So I knew if I shared it, the best thing to do would be to educate others so that we could work better together. And as an African proverb says, if you want to go fast, you go alone. And if you want to go far, to go together. And that has played out in my life over and over and over again, and never more so than in the business. And so it worked. I'm the OG. I began teaching people. and more people and more people. And the goal is to teach anybody and everybody who wants to learn about the business the right way to do it. And I became more successful. And the people I shared it with became more. That's it. One and done. $400,000 a year. Yeah, I'm good. That's all right. Partnership, joint venture, partner with folks and grow by providing deals to other investors that want to come alongside of you, which is what we do. Or you bring the money, or you bring the expertise and the construction, the due diligence, the management to a joint venture or partnership, whatever that looks like. Raise capital. That's what we do as well. And we teach people how to do that as well. Become a passive investor. Our passive investors earn 36% IRR. That's not such a bad thing. Start a property management company. If you want to. No, thank you. We have our own property management company. I have somebody else that runs that. I get it. I know it. I know what to do. That ain't me, though. I am not running the property management company. Or become a wholesaler. A wholesaler is doing, and obviously Tom and Carolina do this very, very well. So learn this asset class so that you can do the same thing. You know, the front end is the same. You find the deal, you know how to analyze it and analyze the market. That's it. Then you put together an offering memorandum to show somebody else why they should buy it or why they. What if you could add some zeros and commas to that? How do you add zeros and commas? Well, you deal in properties that have more zeros and commas behind them. Our folks are getting 50 grand to 100 grand, and we've had a $1 million wholesale assignment fee. And that's because it's the beauty of commercial real estate. And if you're wholesaling a $1 million, $2 million, $5 million deal to somebody, you think, are you going to ask for 5 grand? No, there's a little more work that goes into the front of it, but as a percentage of the deal, it holds the same. Are you following me? Is everybody tracking? You get that? And you do roughly the same amount of work, but because the value is higher, your paycheck is higher. You wholesalers, are you following? Just to make sure. That's the beauty of commercial versus residential or small business. And by the way, I'm your built-in buyer. Let's make that clear. I'm your built-in buyer. I'm always looking for deals. There's no shame in that. That is not the sole reason why I'm here, but let's just face it. We have a huge community. We built the largest for a reason. And so we can all do business together with less friction and doing it the right way. I don't buy every deal. I can't. I don't have the time. We don't do every small deal. Some are too large or they're too far away, but I'm your building shot. And then step number 3 is to add self-storage to your portfolio. Well, wait a minute, Scott, you skipped a whole bunch of steps there. You just add it. Well, I'm providing the knowledge. And without knowledge, action is useless. And knowledge without action is futile. So in other words, you got to act. You got to implement. It's up to you to execute. That's it. We provide the roadmap, the tools, the resources, everything. You just got to go execute. Oh, I can't do that, Scott, because I'm too busy because I'm this, I'm that, and and I can't do it because here's my background and I'm not equipped for this. Yeah, you know what? It works for people from all walks of life and abilities. So if you're saying that you can't for some reason, that's a confidence issue, and that's something that maybe I can't fix, but it's up to you to fix because we've had people from all walks. We've had doctors and folks with PhDs behind their name making more money in self-storage, and they're quitting their practices and paying off their practices with self-storage, to folks, firefighters who have less than perfect. The model, we sold it for a profit of $1,165,000. We didn't sell it for $1,165,000. That would be a loss. We sold it for a profit of $1,165,000. And then she paid off all her debt in her medical practice and her school debt, and then put another $865,000 into a 1031 exchange. So let's talk about advantage number 3. It's interest rate, inflation, and recession resistant. I touched on it at the beginning, so now here's the reasons why. In a good economy, what do we do in this country? Woohoo! Celebrate, right? Life's good, business is good. It improves. We do better. And so while Wall Street is bouncing up and down, like a pinball machine, well, it's always a good time to be in storage no matter what is happening in the stock market. So we just don't even pay attention to it anymore. It's also interest rate resistant because our model has not changed. So hear me out on this. The model, our underwriting model, has a lot of inputs. Here's a self-storage facility that we're analyzing. Here's the income that it brings in, and here's the expenses, and here's the net operating income at the bottom, right? What we enter into the top is our cost of capital. So here's the interest rate, here's the cost of capital, here's how much it's going to cost to buy this thing versus the price. And then we come down to the bottom of the calculations and shows our strike price and whether we make money or not, or whether it covers the debt. So the software, the underwriting, does all the heavy lifting for us and the negotiating. And so the market dictates whether it's a deal or not. And if the cost of capital is higher, it just means that somebody has to lower their price or increase, at least right now in this market before interest rates go down further. you're going to be in better shape and the facilities are going to be worth even more, which is why we're so excited about investing right now, and which is why I am here talking to you, because I don't do this. I don't do this any longer, but as we grow our community and we bring more folks into the fold and more opportunities for us to look at and deals to look at, this is what it looks like. Today's market. All right, everybody, off Facebook, turn the TV off, pencils, pens up. Today's market, let's say the interest rate is 8%. Cap rates are at 9%. That is the rate of return. That is the yield on the interest rate that you're going to receive. Let's say you found a self-storage facility that has a net operating income, net income minus expenses of $100,000 at the end of the year, always an annual. We divide that by today's market cap rate of 9%. That is the going capitalization rate, the rate of return you're going to see in today's market, which means that the facility is really worth $1,111,111. And so it's easy math. And for this example, okay, so that's going to be your strike price. That means you're buying at a market rate. If you're buying it at a 10 cap, it means that you're going to be paying less for that. Or if you're paying less for that, it means it's a 10 cap. It's an inverse relationship. So now in the future, let's just say, interest, what we do, once again, this is the business model. You buy it when interest rates are high, when people are selling and have to sell right now. And there's a lot of folks that can't sell because they can't, or have to sell because they can't refinance right now. They can't hold on any longer, but it's the perfect time to buy because interest rates are coming down and you're going to get the benefit of this huge wind in your sail at your back. Meaning when interest rates go down, the valuation of your facility goes up. And all you have to do is minimal. Just mind the store. I mean, we don't want to do that. We want to do more than that. But all you got to do is mind the store and do some basic increases and then let the market build the value of your facility for you. And there you go. One little facility and you barely lifted your finger and raised rates. And when the market comes down in 2 years, you made $1 million on one deal. That's not bad, is it? Yes or yes? There we go. Now we got some smiles and head nods. Okay. Folks, this is the recession-resistant opportunity. Not just because I say so. The Wall Street Journal said. So here's the goal, folks. We want to dominate the downturn. Are we in it? Are we going to get through it? Is it going to get worse? Well, it depends on where we're at. When we say the downturn, that's all you can say right now. Are we in a recession? I don't know. Is it a soft landing? Are we in the middle of it right now? It doesn't matter. I think when you look at the jobless claims, I'd say that we've got more to come. And there's layoffs. A friend of mine just got laid off. We're heading into a time where it's not all rosy at the moment. And businesses and individuals will downsize. Owners and partners will be stretched. Those who didn't build value in their facilities several years ago because they just watched a couple of YouTube videos and thought this was an easy business. And now it comes time to refinance where their old loan at 90% LTV and 4% is now being refinanced at 65% LTV and 7%. Well, they're going to have to come to the closing table with either money to make up the shortfall or the keys to the facility because they can't refinance. And so guess who's picking up the keys to those before they hit the table? We are. We're stepping in with our private equity partners. We're stepping in with our joint venture partners, and we're buying up those properties, either at short sale or from the banks because they know who to call. And we're sharing it with our same thing since 2008. We said we are preparing right now because we are growing a war chest of capital, and we are going to go out and buy as many of these facilities as possible for this time, and the time has come. And so this is what we're doing. And we've got the pipeline of facilities. We're going to show you how to find your own, but we've got a pipeline of facilities. Here's an example of what this looks like. Two of our first-time students, two of our students, first property. I don't recommend this, and this is a little bit of an outlier, but we have replicated this a few times as well, where our students without a lot of experience had us come alongside of them. We became part of the LLC, used our lenders and equity partners, and they oversaw the construction and they handled the entire project, built it for $8.9 million, and we sold it for $18 million. So you got game changers and you got life changers in that one. So this is what we're seeing as private lenders pulling hundreds of millions of dollars from Wall Street right now. Sellers are grabbing cash by selling their properties, and self-storage, by the way, is essential, which means that if we happen to have anything that resembles a pandemic again, we stayed open and we will stay open again, and it outpaces all other asset classes. So here's the solution. Here's the punchline. If you haven't learned it already, is to learn the business so you don't miss out on this perfect storm. So as a reminder, why it's the perfect storm, 3 advantages. Self-storage investing is the best performing asset class in all of real estate and has been for the past 25 years. Advantage number 2, investing in self-storage is just a series of steps in an easy to follow system that anyone can execute. This is a simple, predictable business model, folks. It doesn't mean it's an easy business. It's not rocket science. And I'm thankful for that because knuckleheads like me can get into this business and make millions and go out and teach people how to do this. And just by following a simple process that we have perfected. Well, what is that? $250K a year? 500K a year, and I'm talking net. $1 million a year. Well, if you haven't thought about it, think about it a little bit. Write a number down. $500,000 is a realistic goal with 5 properties. Let's just start there, okay? So how much is it costing you to not make $500,000? Well, it's different for everyone, but here's another way of looking at this. The average annual income for the top 10% of Americans is $132,676 in this country. The top 10% is at 132. So let's just say that you're making $100,000 or you're close to it. Whatever. It's an arbitrary number and it's easy for math. Well, if $500,000 is your goal, then you're giving up $400,000. That's your opportunity cost. And why is that? Well, you're giving it up each year because you don't know how to make $500,000. It's as simple as that, folks. I think we get all wrapped around the axle about all the reasons and the excuses why we can't be successful in real estate or whatever it is that we are looking to do. And at the end of the day, dollars a year for some of you. Student Bev purchased a site for $842,000, followed our model, 5-acre facility, buildings on 3, improved the operations, expanded, leased it up, sold it for $3.4 million. You do the math. Rolling over $2 million into her next project. It's just simple as that. Where are my fix and flips? Fixers and flippers. Raise your hands, okay? How about buying a self-storage facility, putting a little lipstick on it, not doing anything by way of capital expenditures, but just cleaning the thing up and cleaning up the accounts receivable and raising rates and then flipping it for $389. Buy for the money. Well, you bring partners in as well, or you use seller financing. Once again, you think that there are no good loan terms left. Well, it doesn't matter what the loan terms are. Deals are made. You don't find deals and financing is out there. You just match the deal with the financing. That's it. Interest rates are too high. Same thing. People were making millions back when interest rates were 18%. I'm sure you've heard of that as well. I was making lots of money in self-storage back in the 1900s when I began investing, and interest rates were at 8.5%, 9%. Go figure. So guys, gals, just stop with the fear stuff. It's just not out there. That's just somebody. If somebody didn't speak enough into your life to tell you that you are valued and you have the ability to do this, and all you need to do is follow a process, then I will. So congratulations. You are enough and you have the ability to go do this. And I've got the system to show you how to do it and the processes. Otherwise, this is what we see most people do. Non-investors, they go out, they get a job until age 65 plus, and then they worry about retirement. Stock investors, our last piece of habitational real estate was a 72-unit apartment complex. And she comes down the stairs and she said, "Hey, what do you see is different today? What's different about today?" And I'm just like, uh-oh, that's a loaded question when your wife says, "What's different? Your hair, you got a dress, you've lost weight. I give up." She said, "No, it's quiet. It's quiet. You notice the phones aren't ringing with the tenant and the toilet issues, the contractor issues, the manager issues, everything else." And so we realized that true freedom and we got our time back. You don't have to time the market again because it works in both. And you have the winning forever formula, as we call it, for creating recession-resistant cash flow without the hassles of tenants and toilets and trash. So here's the process. We've been talking about it. It's as simple as this. Purchase and manage self-storage facilities, all the software for evaluating them that I mentioned, the business plan itself, our purchase agreement, loan request, partnership documents, plus the video libraries of anything that we've done to create alongside of that. Now, we give this to our new employees, new staff members, and then we also make it available to folks like yourselves that come alongside of us as well. The valuation software, so you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be great at math. I was horrible at math in college, but I'm really good at real estate math, and we created a system that is absolutely, I don't want to say it's bulletproof because anybody can screw anything up by putting in the wrong inputs, but we show you what not to do. And it gives you your target price. It shows you where to sell. It shows you what your financing is going to be in storage. And this is the best-selling franchise out there, but we don't sell it. It's included in our process, in our entire bundle. And so the best way, however, to get into the business is to not only have access to all the information, but then how to use it. And so we invite you to spend 3 days with us, to come to our Self-Storage Academy, to meet our investing team. And it's my team. And it's, by the way, nobody else. We don't bring in any selling speakers or parade anybody else through selling anything else. It's 3 days of learning about the business from my team. We go through property analysis, market analysis, how to finance these, how to raise private equity. We talk about unmanned facilities. We talk about no money down development projects that you can get into even as a new investors like Doug and Monica did. We share the 6 business models in depth as to how you can make money in self-storage, not just by owning one facility and managing it on your own. We do this all by way, and that's because we don't have a cattle call. We block it off at 100, and we are about at 100 right now. So we are close. And remember, I guess the main thing is to remember always is why wait? And the opportunity cost of not getting into this business and hitting 2025, hitting the ground running. Because you can either be 5 years smarter by starting it now or waste 5 years trying and coming back to us anyways and learning about the business. So here's what we've got laid out. This is the process. We call it a home study system, but it's not a home study system. It's a bundle because it starts with the business plan. And that's what this is, a business plan to get you into the business that you follow. It includes the evaluator software for analyzing the facilities, our manager's toolkit, which is the franchise for the business, access to the vault, which is access to renting. You get to rent our back office. You get access to it. 2 tickets to the academy to couples on, except for those that are part of our ecosystem. So go to, I'm not going to say HTTPS or www because I'm also told that that's old school. So it's there, but tractionrea.com/self-storage. That's where you're going to go to get that price. Tom and Carolina, you can put in the chat. I don't know how long you make that good for. We're heading down to Florida next week, and we do have another event that is coming up in Salt Lake. It is a beginning. I can't remember the dates. It is in January, I believe. So this isn't the only one, but this is the place to get you started right away. You get access to everything, but then you can come. It never expires. You can come to any academy. We have 4 per year roughly, but you really need to be in Orlando. Besides, it's getting cold up here in the Midwest and in Virginia. But bonus number 1, it is the bonus that we're going to give to tonight is that I'm going to give you access to the deal room, which means this is the largest community of self-storage investors on the planet. So when you somebody in, we have the largest community and the largest ecosystem of people doing this. So joint ventures, partnerships, you name it. So this now is the time. And these are the reasons to join our team now and begin working with us, because we got the capital. We just need deals and partners who do it our way, which is the right way. Self-storage is red hot, and it's going to heat up as we capitalize on the recession. And if you join us at the Academy, you're going to learn how to work with us. So those are the 3 reasons you want to act now. So again, to recap, this is everything that's included with the blueprint for this evening. The Attraction REIA discount, $500, only $997.
Let me see if there's.
Hi, Olga, you're muted. There we go. Oh, try again. There.
Hi there. Sorry, I'm managing multiple screens. I just
Me
wanted to
too.
say, okay, I had only raised my hand earlier because you had asked who are the fixers and flippers in the group, and so that's why I had that up. But I just wanted
Well,
to
there
say,
you are.
great presentation. I did ask a question earlier, which was just asking, why were you the black sheep of, I know that you're the OG and I like that, but I was wondering what makes it black sheep.
Yeah, I'm a black sheep because we actually teach people about the business instead of taking their money and not delivering on it. There's a whole lot of folks that have been around for a long time, and if you've been around this, I don't know, this info industry for a long time, there's a whole lot of folks that they teach you just a little bit, and then you have to pay for the rest, and then they shut any mentor successful rather than just take their money and have the smallest amount of hours invested in our students, because we're building something bigger and it's something greater. We're building a community of folks to do this successfully, and I tithe 10% of our profits in our business that goes to building houses, and so I have a mission. And so the more successful our folks are, the more successful we are, and the more families we can get out of the cycle of poverty. So it's a full circle.
That sounds amazing.
deal.
I'm impressed with what you've shared. My husband and I have been in it for 11 and a half years out of Portland, Oregon. We've done a bunch of flips, and we have holds. But when you said the 500K number, I mean, that is our goal. Absolutely. We've talked about it a lot. We got involved with syndications for apartments, hoping that we were going to make our way towards this goal, but they've all fallen flat. There were 3 that we participated in. So you've hit a lot of hot buttons, and I'm hoping Tom and the Traction REIA will be sending us this replay, because I intend to have my husband watch it. And this has been a vertical that is just always kind of there, that is of interest to me. But like you said, it's the nuts and bolts. People teach you enough to get, hungry and thirst live.
So this bundle at $9.97, this includes anything and everything that we've ever created to learn about self-storage. It also has recordings of our live events and the trainings within the business itself. And it includes 2 tickets to our academy to come for our 3-day event. Now, beyond that, it just depends. I would say get through the academy and then find out where you're at. If there's additional resources that you're needing, if you want to become a part of a group, that is an additional cost. And so we've got different levels and time frames depending upon, what type of group. If you want to write a check for speed and you want somebody to come work alongside of you one-on-one, you can do that. If you want to be part of a group to stay involved, you can certainly do that as well. You'll always have access to the vault and then also the deal room. But as far as one-on-one coaching and mentoring, just depending if that's something that you're looking at, that would be an additional cost.
Okay, but it's available. Okay, very
It's
good.
available. Yeah.
Well, we're quick learners, so thank you very much. Excellent.
Having a storage unit. And I don't see that many people that look like me that owns them. And so I want to I want to break the.
There's a lot of beautiful people like you. What are you talking about, Vaughn? We run into beautiful people all day long with big, bright white
Well,
smiles
I don't
like yours.
see them. I don't see them. So show them to me. But hey, they're all on my wall. I mean, seriously, in my closet. I have it everywhere, to start the storage unit.
I love it.
And so I have 2 questions. I have several rental properties, multifamilies. One of my questions to you is what made you decide to get away from the residential and go commercial? Or did you just gradually, it sounds like looking at the slides, it was a gradual move. Yeah, that's question 1.
Yeah. So I think it was a culmination of a few things. We just, as we continue to grow, and once we got into the multifamily, it seemed we thought that would be the economies of scale would fix the problem of robbing from Peter to pay Paul and getting to the place where we could truly hire a property management company or staff and build our own property management company to give us the free time that we wanted to grow the business. But it seemed like we were never able to get over that hump. And the more that we bought, the more tenant toilet issues that we bought along with it as well. And never just seemed to happen. So even though we did have property management companies and staff in place, the buck stops, with us, and we still have to write the check for all the problems. And there's still problems that happen with, the big problems with contractors or police showing up or, people complaining about mold, even though they created the mold and just, all that stuff. And then also what I found is, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm a wuss, but, I found myself growing less loving of my fellow man because I've been lied to so many times. And going to court and, well, first of all, even before going to court, I bought into the sob stories, until I got really smart and realized, okay, this is another sob story. I can see it coming from a mile away, and I'll be darned, they did it to me again. And so when, people just, intentionally lie to you over and over again about the rent or the reasons and then just stop paying you. And then they're mad because you're kicking them out and they take a claw hammer down the drywall and leave the faucet running on the, the 3rd floor of the apartment building while they walk out, and it floods the unit below and the unit below. And then I go to court and the court just says, oh, well, that's fine. We're going to, award in your favor for non-payment of rent and excessive wear and tear. And, they owe you $50 or whatever. And then we never are able to collect on it. And so the way I grew up, if you don't pay somebody, that's stealing. And if you take a hammer to somebody's wall, that's destruction of property. That's not excessive wear and tear. And so I realized, the best cook in the world can't fix a broken recipe. And I really don't, I'm growing less tolerant. I just don't like people anymore. And when you don't like people, I had to change a business. That was just not a good place to be in for me personally. So, and my wife, we were growing cynical. We're believers, and we were finding ourselves cussing and being really, really disgusted
Well, I
with
heard that
with
people
the
that
business.
curse are actually smart, but they're very smart, intelligent people. That's what I heard. But yeah, I feel you with that piece. I mean, what type, I'm a disabled veteran. So what type of benefits as far as loan piece? And I guess I can ask that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do because there's first of all, start with the SBA. They got some great programs as well. I start with the larger banks as well, even though they're difficult to work with, they do have access to a number of different programs. And Vaughn, I've got if you want to get with Tom and Carolina and give me your contact information, I've got a broker that will be able to find, depending on your market. Well, their national programs, but finding your market somebody who you can talk to about what that looks like as well. And so, yeah, there are some other programs out there.
Well,
There's not as
I
many in
want to
commercial,
join
but
your mentorship
okay. Well,
because
perfect. Well, then you'll have access to us.
I'm not going to do this alone. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not the way to go about it.
Where are you located? What market are you in, Vaughn?
So I'm from Florida, Tampa, but I live in the
Yeah.
DMV. I've lived in Northern Virginia.
Okay. You did the opposite of the ZEEB'S. What did you just go up there to be with them and then they moved on you?
We
No,
switched
I'm
places.
smart.
I know you are. Well, yeah, and come to think about it, you're not dodging storms like they are. So yeah, maybe you are
No,
the smarter.
exactly. My family were in it, and my mom came up. They live in Tampa. My mom came up to watch our kids while
Mhm.
we were in London. So I was just praying
Yeah.
that, the rest of the family was
Yeah.
fine. Like my 96-year-old grandmother who still drives,
Yeah.
but she was left alone. But her entire street had lost all utility, electricity, but her house. So it's nobody but God. Nobody
Yeah, well,
but
that's no
God.
coincidence, that's for sure. That's awesome.
Last question, I promise.
Yep.
I'm just so excited because this has been on my goal sheet for, oh my God, forever. Oh my God.
Dream boards work.
I know, for real. So with this, I can't make it to the November. I can't make it because I'll
Yeah.
be somewhere else during that time. So can I purchase it and then use those tickets for
Yeah, they never
another?
expire. They never expire. And I want to see if I can find my staff. They just tell me where to show up and when. I don't look ahead as much as I should.
So
So
yes, if
the
you could
next
tell
academy
me,
is Phoenix. Phoenix in January,
oh, I could do that.
the 29th, 30th, and 31st.
29th, 30th, and 31st in
Yep.
Phoenix,
That is
Arizona.
the next one. And then we come back to Indianapolis in April. And I'm not exactly sure of what
No,
those dates are. but
I'll
it looks
come
like the
to
20.
Phoenix.
Okay.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were doing it in Orlando. I didn't have it on my calendar, but I'll be there next week. I'm
Awesome. Good.
gonna move things around and figure out what to do. He's not here.
Okay.
I'll figure out what to do.
He's
but
never
I'm
here. He
getting a
doesn't show
lot-
up to build houses. He doesn't show up to the academy. What does this guy do, man?
He's never here for hurricanes. He was not here for the 2 hurricanes. And when we were
Oh
leaving,
my
every time it was
gosh.
no bad, he was not there. But that's not the point.
People that need to be taught, and that's where I went.
I'm getting a lot of chats and questions. Everybody asking, how do I want to do passive invested? Like they're all asking me mentorship, but the first step is to do the blueprint.
Yeah, it
Right?
is. Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yep.
then and if you cannot make it next week, that's okay. You can get this, start consuming all the information, and
100%.
then the next one, then you go. But don't tell me no, I'm not gonna do it. One, because I'm getting you the deal that and you know that I'm an amazing negotiator. So I got it for $9.97 for you for to attraction community. Yeah, you can buy it for more outside of us. Go ahead. But the point is that's the first step.
Yep.
They cannot do the next step or do private investing or invest in your deals unless they do this first step. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep, that's correct. I mean, you want to know the business, whether you're investing passively or actively anyways. You won't know what you're looking at or to do your due diligence. And, you just need to understand what that looks like. And then also to be able to get access to the deal flow of what we have on the passive side. Yeah, that is the best way to get access. And that leads many times to the active side as well. And so, I mean, you should be doing both. I do both. I invest passively and actively.
Vaughn, this is the discount that I got you. She's asking me to try this.
She's a negotiator.
I know, you're great. You're like me. But this was the best deal that I got. Trust me, and I this is the best.
All that
closed mouth don't get fed, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have to ask.
good
But I'm
point.
signing up as
Love
we
it.
speak.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Cool.
All right. Congratulations, Vaughn.
Once you guys place the order, then I pull up all the orders and then I email them to Scott tonight actually, and then that way tomorrow morning he will send it to his staff, and then you guys can get all the access and all the good stuff tomorrow. So again, you don't have to tell me, no, I cannot go to Orlando or Phoenix, then that's okay. You can start
A little bit more.
consuming and getting all the information, and then by the time you attend the next one, then you'll be ready.
Yep. Bethany, who is in Fort Myers, she is up at 3 a.m. She will be giving you access by 4 a.m. If you would like to start tomorrow.
Excellent. Dan Rosales, you're up next.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Got you, Dan. How are you?
Yeah, great. Pretty good. So, similar to Vaughn, I exited Florida. I lived there most of my life, and one of the reasons was the hurricane. So yeah, I still have family there, so we check it out. I spent a lot of time looking at, watching the news during the last two. So so I think Carolina, is that right? Maybe she answered the question already that I had, which was I wanted to find out if it was possible to get the self-storage investing valuator software, if it's possible to pay for that separately. I'm not able to make to that meeting, to the training next week.
That is fine. But yes, you'll get access to everything immediately, and so you have access to the evaluator is online, and along with the tutorials, along with the case studies of how that works, and included in this, even if you can't make it to Orlando, the last academy, our last academy was in Salt Lake, and that has been recorded, and so you'll have access to the recording of that last academy. So even if you can't come to this one, you can watch the most recent academy and then book to come live to the next one. So it's most of the sessions. Obviously, the networking isn't there. There's the virtual tour that is not included, and then the case studies. Most of them are in there, but not all of them are in there. And so you're gonna get the gist of it and most of the training, but yes, you won't be left behind. So you get access to the software, all the training, as well as the case studies, how to use it from the academy, all the recordings from the last academy, and then you can come to whichever one you're able to come to next.
Okay, I see. So could I ask a more specific question about self-storage business?
Sure.
Okay, so I haven't bought any, right? I'm new to this, so I appreciate all the training you provided. If you were to, it looks like there's some deals out there that maybe there's like 20 units, 20 doors, right? And the sizes vary, so I'm just going by averages. But then you get to the ones that are a couple hundred, right? Like the first one you mentioned you bought was over 200, if I remember correctly, units. So roughly speaking, where do you see, and it probably varies by location, but roughly speaking, where do you draw the line where it makes it more profitable? You have higher probability of making that positive cash flow, because the way I think about it is there are some costs that are going to be fixed, right? So if you buy something for 20 units versus 200 units, some of those costs are going to be the same, so it's going to be more expensive
That's correct.
to run that lower
Exactly.
door count. So what's roughly your line that you're
So we self-storage is a little bit of a different animal, and you'll hear us as you get into the business talk more in terms of square footage rather than units. And so you're in that 25 to 30,000 square foot. That's on the small side, which means that you're gonna have a part-time manager, not a full-time. And then you're not going to have as much coverage as you would like, especially if you're a full service shop and you're selling locks, boxes, and moving supplies and pushing the renter's insurance and doing U-Haul or things of that nature. Then all of a sudden it makes it difficult, but the payroll's too high to have somebody sitting there because they're going to be twiddling their thumbs because there's not as much activity in a smaller facility like that than there is in a larger one. So that's really about kind of the breaking point, and we can use somebody part-time and then backfill with the technology, and run it with the kiosk and run it with access by way of the website. But what we're looking at, Dan, is kind of a different I don't know, a different approach to it is that we like facilities that are 50 to 60,000 square foot and above, because our ultimate goal is to sell to the REITs, and they're the ones who pay a lower cap rate, therefore a higher dollar. And so we're trying to find those institutional grade facilities or something that we can even expand to get up to 50 to 60,000 square feet to be able to sell. And so you should always be thinking, for the reasons you just mentioned, you're on the right track. Always be thinking, what is the biggest that I can buy? What's the most that I can buy? And that is not the same as a single family house where you're going to go into the lender, the bank, and get pre-qualified. It just means how much capital do I have? How much capital can I raise is going to really dictate the facility, because it's not based upon, the loan is not based upon the strength of you as a borrower. It's more based upon the strength of the facility and how it repays the loan, because it is the principal repayment of the loan, not you, like in a single family house. So always be looking to see, the biggest facility that you can buy on your own, or even bringing in a partner is going to make your life a lot easier by having a full-time manager or a management company running it.
Got it. So 25 minimum for part-time. If you're going to have part-time and some sort of a kiosk, right? Roughly.
Yeah.
And then 50 plus for full-time person, plus kiosk and other services.
Yeah, correct.
That you can provide. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, let me see if I see anyone else. If not, totally awesome, Scott. Totally
Hey,
awesome.
look at that. Is that my younger brother on the cover of that?
Yeah, a little light reading material for Kelly today. Good. So, anything else we should have mentioned?
Oh, there's a
One
whole lot of
question.
stuff.
Sorry. There's a question there that just came up. So is there a book
Dan.
that can be purchased that you have, or is it part of the training?
Nope, it's I don't want to say it's no good without it, but it's all included. I mean, the book talks about the software for evaluation and then all the forms and everything else. And so that really is the business plan. And so I can't stress enough how important it is to create the business plan. And then that is a supplement to follow through and show you how to do that and walk through it. But then it just, it has a narrative behind it for, the back end of the office. And so that's kind of like it's a HR manual. It's your business plan. It is the roadmap and the guide to everything that's inside of the vault.
Yeah, every piece is worth more than what the overall price is. So it's a better deal as a package.
Yeah. And that's the only way we offer it now anyways. Just as to be successful, we've just decided, once again, I'm into the legacy phase now. We don't piecemeal anything else. We put everything together, and separately, we'd be talking a whole lot more than $997 for that.
There's another question. Patrick, go
Yep,
ahead.
go ahead, Patrick.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Let me get off camera. I'm not sure if you guys can see me either.
Yep,
we got you, Patrick.
Both of these things. First of all, thank you, Tom, Caroline, and Carolina, I guess, and Scott. This has been super useful. I have a couple of questions. The first one being, I'm a W-2. You said you could do it part-time. I'd be curious to know, from your experience, once someone gets started, how much time should they think about when they get started? So that's question one. The second question is has to do with the market. I think on one of your slides, you said something around self-storage being hyper-local, right? And if it's like like any real estate, there's like some markets are better than others because of density, because of like saturation, and you name it. So in the world in which one cannot find good deals, quote unquote, in their market, have you seen success in remote investing in this asset class?
Yep.
So those are two questions. I hope that's helpful.
Sure. Okay. So first, I can answer any question that anybody asks with. The answer is always, it depends. So let's start with that. The more money or the more time you put into something, the quicker the success comes. So that's obvious. What we ask is, we ask you to commit 15 hours a week. And for some people, that may seem like a lot, but if any of you have done a time tracking audit of your own personal time and how much time you spend on social media, TV, or anything else, if you want to change your life and start putting up the numbers like we talked about, 15 hours is, anybody can find 15 hours in a week to do that. More success quicker at 20. It may take a little bit longer at 10, 12 or so, but 15 hours is what we ask that you commit to it. Now, in terms of the market itself, when you say, if I don't find anything in my market, then, can I go somewhere else and look? I think you're going to find opportunities. We say start within a 90-minute to 2-hour drive of your house. And that's what you're going to canvas. You're going to talk to the brokers. Here's what I'm looking for. You're going to send the mailers out to the owners. Utilize the IDing of facilities in the markets, as we just talked about. We'll show you exactly what that looks like and how to go out and find them, and then begin looking in your own market. I depending upon your market, that's why I said it depends. I think it'd be hard pressed to not find something, when you begin looking after, the course of 30, 45 days or so. But if that is the case, then, well, first of all, no offense to anybody in California, but, a lot of the folks in California invest in the Midwest and other places because they invest for cash flow versus, wealth building. If you could still, do very well in storage if you're looking for, wealth accumulation and appreciation. But if you're investing for cash flow, most California investors, no matter what the asset class is, they're usually investing outside of it. And then the other markets as well that may be difficult. If you live in a downtown market, a large one, you may want to look outside. It may be a little bit easier to get into the suburbs. So start 2 hours from home, and to that extent that you've exhausted all possibilities, just widen the net. 2.5 hours. You don't have to, hop on a plane and find the self-storage Oz where there's opportunities everywhere, to pick off the trees. You're gonna have to do the same legwork because there's gonna be competition and other folks looking there as well. So I'd say let's start there first, and then we'll have that conversation. Your own market.
Super helpful. I'm in the DMV area, so I'm not totally concerned. I suspect it's not totally saturated yet, but I figured I'll ask.
No, it's
Other than
not.
that, thank you, Scott. Super helpful. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right. Well, awesome. It is, Scott, 9:01 Eastern. So respectful of the time, since this is when we said we would wrap up. I thank you.
Fantastic.
Awesome knowledge. We've got a lot of thank yous in the chat. A lot of other people sent us some private messages as well saying, this guy's incredible. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you are incredible. So it's good. Can't wait to meet you. Vaughn is saying, Renee's saying thank you. Patrick said thank you as well. So, but Diane said thank you before she left. So we want to thank you as well, Scott. Thanks, everybody. We're going to pop that link in the chat one more time.
Yep.
We'll let Scott go in a minute. We'll leave the Zoom room open for a few minutes while we clear out the chat. And Carolyn's got to clear out a private chat. And then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Tom, Carolina, thank you so much. Just appreciate being in the same room with you, even if it is a Zoom room. And say hi to Tommy for me as well. And gang, looking forward to seeing you hopefully in Orlando. If not, then either in Salt Lake, Phoenix, or Indianapolis coming very soon. And then Carolina, I'll see you next week.
Yay.
All right. Bye, gang.
Sounds
Thanks
like a
again.
plan. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.